When the outdated tactics get left behind, it's time we stop. Marketers look around when your ranking's going down. It's the Jim and Ann Show, the Jim and Ann Show, the Jim and Ann Show. Today's special guest is Bill Slosky. Bill Slosky is one of the smartest minds in SEO. He's the director of SEO research at Go Fish Digital, and he's also the owner and president of SEO by the Sea. He has more than 25 years experience in SEO. He has a Juris Doctor degree. He is the kind of expert on Google's patents as it relates to SEO. He's the author. He's written like over 1,000 posts on his SEO by the Sea blog, but not just that. He's written in Search Engine Land, Search Engine Journal, Moz, tons of other places where there's, thousands of stuff that Bill has written throughout the years. He's also speaking at tons of the major conferences within the industry as well. Speaking at PubCon, SMX, all sorts of major conferences as well. And he speaks a lot about search engine algorithms as well. And again, sometimes with the patents, and also talks about universal and blended search and all sorts of stuff. He's also an original OG at the Create a Site forums and Webmaster World. And that's Bill.
Hi, Bill. Thank
Hello.
you.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
So me and Ann had been talking about one of the topics that we wanted to cover in a show. And one of the topics that had come up with me and Ann was something that John Mueller had said about internal links and the placement of those on a page. And there was an article in Search Engine Roundtable from Barry Schwartz where he interpreted what John Mueller said. And there was another article over on Search Engine Journal by Roger Monti where he talks about that, talks about some of the things that Martin Spliff says. And there's kind of a little bit of, I think, confusion in the industry about links on a page and what is the value of those.
When I read that, one of the first things I thought of was a patent by Jeff Dean and a number of other people, where he talked about the original PageRank model and how it was based on something he referred to as the random surfer model, where every link is equal to every other link in terms of how much equity they pass along or how much PageRank. And he followed up that patent with another patent that changed that. And he said, it's time for something new. We're going to replace the random surfer model with the reasonable surfer model, where every link passes along a different amount of equity. It does that based on how the link appears, what it looks like, what font color it is, what size it is, what style it is, where it appears on a page, which is important for this discussion. And that's both internal and external links. So if it's an internal link on a site and an external link, it doesn't matter. Each work PageRank the same. And the reasonable surfer model applies to each exactly the same. So the reasonable surfer model is based upon the probability that someone might click on a link. And the anchor text matters too. So if it says something like terms of service, it's not going to pass much link equity along. So the search engine is going to not give it too much PageRank. So there's no need for link sculpting because Google's already doing link sculpting.
So let's talk a little bit about, let's create an example. So let's say there's a web page, a random subpage of someone's site. And let's look at where some of the links could be on the page. Let's say there's, a link in the top navigation bar. And let's say there's another link maybe in the very first paragraph of text, maybe there's a big button, click here to learn more, that's above the fold. And then maybe there's a link on the bottom of the page, but above the footer. And then maybe there's a link in the footer.
You included one with variations. There was a follow-up patent, and one of them was an update of the reasonable surfer model where they said, okay, this anchor text, when it's something that's very nondescript, like click here, they might look at a window around the anchor text and pull that in to maybe provide some type of query rewriting. So to find out more about the reasonable surfer model, click here. They'll ignore the click here part that's bolded and underlined as the anchor text, and they'll say right next to that is reasonable surfer model. So that's what this link is about. The reasonable surfer model is supposed to give you an idea of what might be the most reasonable thing someone might click on a page. And usually it's going to be text in context of a page. It's not going to be like the link underneath the footer next to terms of service or sitemap, or it's not going to be something in the header. It might be something in the sidebar, but those are the same on every page. When you have multiple links on a page that all point to the same site, Google's making an anchor map of all the links on a page. It's not ignoring any of them. It knows where all the links are. That's one of the Google superpowers. It knows everything. It's got a memory like an elephant. It keeps track of all the things. It has the ability to say, we like both links. We like the anchor text for both links. We're going to use both of them.
So at the risk of getting us back to that PageRank scalping past of our of SEO, everyone is still arguing about one thing. Is on-page link equity PageRank limited on a page? So the more links are on the page, the less link equity each link will get, or it's much more complicated.
Did John Mueller say the other day that link equity, internal link equity, is unlimited?
Bill, is it still pretty much, when you look at the value of internal links on the page, that it still is mostly going to be about the probability of it being clicked? Kind of, I guess, the bottom line. Look around when your ranking's going down.